Students, today we'll start with the domain interaction model. In the beginning classes, we have learned there are three models. First one is the class model, second is state, and third one is the interaction model. In the class model, we are capturing the static structure of the classes, and in the state model, we are representing the behavior of the object, how it changes over its life cycle. And in the interaction model, we'll explain how dynamically the interaction will happen between the objects. Now we are studying the domain model. The domain model represents the real world conceptual classes, not the software components. And the interaction model mainly deals with the application modeling. That's why rarely we use the interaction model in the domain. So interaction model has its importance in the application modeling, and it's rarely used in the domain modeling, that too in the analysis stage. In the domain analysis, main concentration is identification of the key concepts that are there in the real world domain, that are, for example, in the ATM system we study about the account, the customers, and the ATM system, and we learn about the deep structural relationship that exists between those, that is the association. So the domain interaction model has its application very much rare in the domain interaction model has its application very much rare in domain modeling, that too in the analysis stage. Next is iterating the analysis. Analysis model cannot be decided just in one pass. It requires repeatedly understanding and going through many number of passes so that we can come to a conclusion that this analysis is correct. The problem statements often consist of different components that may be connected linear or they may be connected in circularities. So within one pass we may not understand their actual relationship. To know the implications, analysis should be done iteratively. Example, yesterday we have learnt about the paper publishing application, wherein the first step was writing the paper. So the initial state in which the paper was present is being written, right? And the next stage was under consideration or review by the reviewer. Consideration or review by the reviewer. Next was we were taking a decision whether to accept it or reject it. Now, in these concepts are arranged linearly, right? So once I read the problem statement, I say that to write the particular paper, I'll be giving 1 month time, right? So I'm analyzing the problem statement now, and they think let us give around 7 days for the reviewer to read it and understand and take a decision whether to reject it or not, right? So this is a linear understanding. In the first iteration of understanding this problem statement, I have come to the conclusion that for writing the paper I'll give 1 month, for making it, keeping it under consideration and reviewing it and taking the decision, I will take a week time by the reviewer, right? So if the arrangement of the states may be circular in our domain model, that is at the time of consideration, before taking the decision whether to accept it or reject it, what I may do is I may ask the particular person who is about to publish the paper to change it according to our suggestions and rewrite it and submit it once again. Now it is exceeding 1 month time because he has already taken 1 month time to write the paper and the reviewer has already taken 7 days to review it. But when I'm doing it iteration second time, I felt that for the second review again I should give around 3 days because I need to check whether all the changes I have told whether they are implemented or not, right? So like this, once I go on doing the analysis again and again, more number of understanding will develop regarding my application and it will be very much important for understanding it. That's why we say in the first approximation of will be made in the will be giving us some idea. In the second level of analysis, it increases our understanding, right? So like this, when we go on doing the iteration, we should verify and get the final analysis. But the final analysis, when you are publishing it, it should be you should discuss it with the person who has generated the request, and also with the domain expert. You should talk to them and get their opinion. Next is refining. Once the final version is ready, we may need to retune it according to our business requirements. That is, we should once again go through the classes and see whether we can increase the sharing or improve the structure. Have we missed any of the minute things as attribute or the operations, or can we improve it using the inheritance? Can we increase the sharing part? Next is, we may need to add the details which may have lost before I am understanding it. I might have missed them, so we need to add them. As understanding about the domain goes on increasing, it helps us to understand and make it a better one. Sometimes what happens in the reality, the physical object which we have identified as a concept might have logically distinct aspects. That is, within a class, it might have two stages which may not be fit as a one object. Example, if you talk about a university, we have faculties, right? And each faculties, we have identified them with the attributes of employee ID, the departments to which they belong, their name, designation, salary, and date of joining, right? And also, by looking at the work day to day, what they do, we might have decided their operations, like they may be taking the class, conducting the exams. Few people may be monitoring the performance of the students, few may be monitoring the performance of the faculties, right? And we have seen the faculties attending the meeting also, means we thought somebody is there to arrange the meeting also. Now, if we have modeled this as just one class with these attributes and operations, now a faculty can be a lecturer or he can be a HOD. So if he is just a lecturer, then he cannot monitor somebody other's performance. Similarly, he cannot arrange for the meeting because HODs will call the meeting and the lecturers will just attend it. Similarly, the performance of the lecturer is monitored by the HODs. Now, one class, but it has logical distinct activities or the behavior. In such things, if we cannot fit it into single class, we should split them. Next is, whenever we are implementing the operations, we should be very much cautious about the business logic with respect to the organization for which you are developing. Next, the practices followed in that organization. Always the software should be implements the business logic, but as at the same time it should give us a flexible way to do the manage the changes. Now, and also, if we feel at the end some of the classes are not important, or if we feel they are irrelevant, we should remove them. And whenever required, we should implement the abstraction, which increases the flexibility. Next is, if we find any two classes which are behaving very much similar, we can merge them and make a one class. The more overall refining of the model is to simplify it. Next is, once the analysis is done, we'll get the set of requirements that are the main need of our software development. So when the analysis is complete, we are getting the requirement set, right, which is defining the scope of our application. Why are we developing it? Once it is done, mainly the main real requirements of any domain will become the operation in our application, right? So whenever we decide the different operations, sometime non-functional attributes also attached to it. Those are called as the performance constraints. That is, I say ATM machine helps us in withdrawing the amount. That is operation. But performance is within a second I want this operation to happen, right? It should not take hours together to just give me 1000 rupees. So that is the performance constraint. So once the requirements are ready, we will attach them the performance constraint. Then we verify the final model in consultation with the requesters and the business experts. Verified analysis model serves as a basic for the system architecture, because at the end of analysis we are getting the refined classes, their associations, their attributes, which are very much flexible, and for wherever the changes is required, it should be very easy to do. Then that's why a verified analysis, it becomes the base for the system architecture as well as for the design and implementation. Next is analysis and design. There is a very thin line between analysis and design. We cannot say this is the end of analysis and from there we can start the design, because whenever we start with the design of the application, there and then only we'll start understanding application more and more. Otherwise we can say our understanding towards the implementation parts will increase the understanding about the domain also. So we can do again some refinements. That's why the goal of the analysis is specify the problem fully without introducing a bias towards some of the implementation. Right? It should be same way we should understand, give the importance to all the operations that are to be implemented. Next is we are setting the rules that analysis should happen first, then the development. Why? Because these rules of the development stages will help us to improve the flexibility and preserve it. Because I cannot go on doing the changes in the requirement within the given time and budget. That's why there should be a rule which says that from this end you should stop collecting the requirements, from at this stage you should stop implementing the changes in the design. That's why these rules are set. Otherwise there is no fine line between, there is no absolute line between the various stages of the development. They are overlapped. So to conclude, the goal of the modeling is about representing your problem statement using some UML notations or the graphical notations. Our goal of the modeling is to accomplish the complete job, but it should be done with flexibility, because wherever a change is required, it should be flexible enough. We should do that change without affecting the overall structure of the system.